Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of We Perceive as We Are. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about our personal journeys in spiritual healing, and then just pointing out, or not necessarily pointing out, but having a conversation about the pros and cons that we personally, me and Lulu, have come across. So Lulu, to open up the conversation, what would you say are some pros or that you've discovered while being on your spiritual journey?
I feel some of the pros that I've discovered is, just finding new doors within myself and finding things that, you don't truly know yourself because you keep changing, you keep growing, you keep evolving. So you're always having a new set of characteristics and a new set of traits and a new set of maybe trauma, a new set of beliefs, a new set of perspective. So it really depends, just seeing different parts of me that I haven't really discovered either through quote unquote shadow work, which is just asking yourself questions onto why and how you act.
Would you say that you always saw it as a pro?
I mean, not entirely, because sometimes you just have these things that you intentionally block out. It's not something that you are quote unquote unaware of, but more of something that you are avoiding, running away from a skeleton in the closet or whatsoever. You know what I mean?
You had said something about a new set of beliefs, a new set of fears, and I feel like that kind of reference back to our recent episode with Tuxedo, when they said during the spiritual healing you kinda have to find new things that you enjoy and stuff like that. So what has your journey been like in that situation?
As in new things that I enjoy. I mean,
like finding those new things, shedding the old. What was that like for you?
I mean, it was kind of weird, right? But I think in a way, how to explain it is, a roller coaster, right? But you're kind of spiraling. It's like of a spiral shape. So it's the same thing. It's just in different directions. In some way, they repeat themselves, but not as wide or as narrow, as a loop. But it's just there in general. Like, it doesn't affect you or constrict you in that way. I don't know if I'm explaining it correctly, but I'm the same person, just evolving. I still have my memories. I still have some sort of connection to my quote unquote old self or change, but as I said, you always change, you're always evolving. I'm not what I am yesterday, but I was.
Okay, that makes sense. I guess a big question a lot of the time people ask is, how do you not go crazy, in a sense, with all, as you said, you're always evolving, you're always changing. Doesn't that get a lot? Because I know personally for me that through the journey, as you said, always changing, always evolving, it can kind of get frustrating, because as soon as you attach yourself to one characteristic or one trait or one something, you kind of let it go, because the next step or the next process doesn't need that, and it's not like with everything, but it's like with some things, like in terms of motivations. Certain things that motivated me as I go through life, as I go through quote unquote spiritual healing, childhood healing,
Your journey,
my own journey, and I go back and I reevaluate these things. There are certain things where I'm like, okay, I always thought I was gonna hold on to these things for life, so then now with the new paths I've taken, I change them, so how do you not go crazy in that? Because I honestly find that a struggle sometimes.
I don't know if I don't go crazy. I think it's more of like having a balance. I have foundation. Like, I can change the walls, I can change the windows, I can change the paint job, I can change everything else. But the foundation is not something that goes in and out like that. But it's more, you can reinforce it, you can break it down, you can change it if it's not steady or if it's not with the type of thing that you want. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I feel like it's just finding a balance and connecting. For me, I feel some things just kind of chain together in a way. So I think it's about not dwelling in that emotion, in that feeling, in that sort of space, and just learning, taking in what happened, why, and just in general it in itself, and moving on with the lessons. You don't need to experience it, forget about it, cleanse, go pray for a new one. I feel maybe that could be a thing in certain particular aspects, but if it's just like general, I feel like carrying that wisdom throughout every journey, lesson, battle, whether you're religious or not. It's just continuing with that information from the past. Like, you're being taught something for you, a new lesson, a new struggle, a new war, whatever you want to call it. But from the old situation, you still have you have the new learned tools from your old situation. Have you been like, for you, for instance, have you ever been in a situation like, damn, I wish that didn't happen to me, but something similar happened, but since that one thing happened to you, it prepared you for the bigger event?
I have kind of found myself in such situations. I guess also specifically when it comes to my family, in a sense, or our family. Let me say not my family, but when it comes to our family, there are certain kind of tidbits that you've kind of picked up from, being in the family as one does. And it kind of prepared me for the outside life, because in our family, honesty is a big thing. And not like, plain, honestly, like sometimes brutal honesty,
Yeah.
And it's sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, can come off as bullying, a person's not trying to be mean,
But just
but
that, like, bluntness, that okay, maybe you could have put a little sugar on it. Yeah, I get that.
yeah, so having experienced that through my childhood, kind of got me ready for certain fields of, I guess, career, in quote unquote career, in a sense, have like I found myself in, like, in the culinary aspect. I touched in a bit of cooking for a while, and one thing that you cannot have in that world is a soft hat. Like, I didn't last long for a while
Yeah.
because of that.
No, I get that. When it comes to certain aspects or certain quote unquote traits, don't necessarily match with situation most of the time. When you get into something where you need to be mentally strong, and you don't really have that. You've got other aspects like you've been working on, but that one particular one, it may be you're put in that position for a reason, either to gain that, to see that you've had it all along, to look and see it in other people. And most of the time, I'm going back to the previous episode with Tuxedo when I say being somebody's lesson, reflecting through somebody. You see, sometimes when you don't like certain things about certain people, they say that you see those things like in yourself, like reflection through water. So in that way, maybe situations, could make you like, I really don't have it in me, I really don't got it. But in reality, it's just a situation for you to realize that you've had all along.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And I know for the past couple of episodes of spiritual healing that we've done, and we've done quite a few,
Yeah.
I keep referencing this on how lately I have been trying, or the universe has been trying to teach me the lesson of, I've got the tools. And a lot of people always tell me this, that I've got the tools, that they're in front of me. But sometimes I struggle with being so focused on my goal, so focused on the end, that I forget that it's all about the journey. It's all about the things that you do in life, and not necessarily where you end up at the end of the day, right? And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes that frustrates me.
Yeah.
Sometimes that really frustrates me.
The fact that it was just pulled out of you in, more than situation than anything. It's the worst when you think you really got it, but you don't have it. You're like, damn. I mean, it's either in reality, either put yourself in that situation, or it's just a lesson from the universe, or just stuff that happens. You're like, yo, I don't have it. But as you're saying that, I think this year, us going into a new year, guys, going into a quote unquote new thing, a change, evolving. This year has been a lot of letting go. For me, just letting go of ideas, letting go of the need of control, letting go of, I don't know, my delusions, if I'm being honest, letting go of expectations, letting go of all of that, but also like not letting go to entirely let go and have nothing left, but to let go to replace like go to upgrade in a way. They're like, okay, damn, I'm gonna miss that part of myself, going back to, the connecting of ish, you're connecting to this aspect and you don't really want to lose it. That's why some people hesitate to change, but you're like, okay, I need to let go of that in order to let something good come in or something new come in. Maybe that may be something difficult, maybe it may not be as easy, but it's something that's needed.
Yeah, that makes sense. Would you say that kind of counts as a con in spiritual healing?
I mean, in a way, nah, but I definitely feel it's the way that you look at it. It's your perspective on things. If you look at it, it's like, damn, I'm going to have to let go and let go and let go. I'm not going to be able to, indulge and embrace and relax in anything because I'm always changing and evolving. Then you'll have that perspective and it's probably coming like a drag. But if it's I'm climbing and I'm reaching my goal, I'm getting something better and better and better, I don't stop winning, then it's a good thing.
Was it always for you? Like, did you always see it as a good thing, like from the jump?
No, not really. Even now it's kind of like an in and out thing, right? But it's a lot more consistent because I don't know, maybe it incorporates the way that just life is, right? Because if you just don't, it won't. I don't know. Yeah, it's just simple. If you don't, it simply might not. If you believe in luck, right? Maybe coincidence, it could happen. But as I was saying, I kind of think that linking in some sort of way, that motivation, that push, is necessary. That could be you manifesting your ass off. Okay, sitting with your crystals, doing whatever you're needing. That's you praying to your ancestors, you do you. If that's you praying to Jesus, to God, to Allah, whatever is necessary, ne? And that is your drive and your push, then you go ahead and do that. But I feel that just continuing consistency and pursuing is a very important part. And as I said, as you're asking, I don't really think it's how I was looking at it originally, and most of the time I was also looking at it like, damn, letting go, because I always just wanted to have control, to settle in, to feel, to adjust to everything. But it really isn't like that most of the time, where you're like, okay, you can, like I said, get comfortable and rebuild your foundation, and you could look at life through like a telescope, a house. There's many billions, maybe thousands, okay, not billions, but thousands of metaphors. Yeah,
that makes sense. Personally, I would say that letting go wasn't necessarily the hardest, but it wasn't also easy. Letting go is not easy because, again, as I had said earlier, it's kind of like disconnect, connect, disconnect, connect. But in the bigger picture, you're connecting, And to a lot of people who aren't spiritual, this does kind of sound like, it sounds wild, And why we wanted to do this episode is because lately we've been getting into a lot of spirituality. We will also be getting into a whole list of
a lot of religion there, but in the discussion, I don't think it's particular to spirituality, right? Spirituality is finding something other than you, pushing, as I was saying, drive. So your spirituality in a way could be like religion. Religion is, in some ways, let's take Christianity, you as a person, you are the quote unquote seed, the son of God. That is what the child of God, that is what you are, right? And if that's your destiny, that's your drive, then you go ahead and do you. But the thing of things need to, like, if you don't do it, it probably won't happen, and like I said, that could be you simply thinking about it, thinking that you could do it. That is manifested, or that shows in faith in religion, right? That shows in quote unquote manifesting in spirituality. That could be praying, that could be simply just knowing, you creating your reality. The brain, life is just such an interesting thing because, let's say if you look at the street, you look at a park or look whatever you're looking at, and you think really, really hard, if there's a ball, you want something to appear. Even if you think it's hallucinations. That's you and your perception. That is you literally creating your reality. Whether it's whatever, if you are whatever you are, you could explain it as just the brain doing its thing. You could explain it as a vision, whatever it is. But the fact that you could do that just with your two eyes, really, what's stopping it from doing it in other ways? Whether that's through God, whether that's through the universe, and whether that's through yourself.
That makes sense. I want to touch base into something you had said earlier, how you can do it as simply as manifesting or just praying and stuff like that. And I feel like something that a lot of people kind of get confused when a person when you see a lot of these things saying just pray or just manifest and stuff like that doesn't mean sit on your ass sometimes.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, when it comes to lately trending, manifesting, just thinking about it, these sounds trending on TikTok. I mean, like, if you believe in energies and stuff like that, we're all mass pushing that idea. As I was going back, that I said, once you imagine something so hard, it may be there. You know what I mean? Like I said, that's either the universe, that's God, whatever you want it to be. The fact that you put your faith, you put intention, you put whatever you want into it, it's going to happen. Or it's going to create itself. Think about dreaming. The brain does it by itself.
But again, in the sense of not only create itself, as much as this is again personal
like
opinion.
I said, consistency, motive, movement, as you're saying, is important.
Yeah, again, I'm just pointing it out because it's something I've personally struggled with. Is that as much as the universe can provide and stuff like that. Again, I think we've referenced this in a past episode. Sometimes the universe does not provide in ways you expected. And when you say, like, for example, let's say, oh my gosh, I wish I had a goldfish, and then the universe will bring you a job, and then you'll be like, no, but I wanted a goldfish, not seeing that opportunity. Sometimes, like, a lot of people, as you were saying with trending, this is my personal opinion.
Yeah, I know.
A lot of people with trending and stuff like that, they sit, they manifest, but then they don't move with it.
Yeah, I get, look, think about it. As you were saying in tuxedos, and I think we've said it before, that knowledge is just knowledge unless you apply it, right? Power is ain't nothing until you use it. An idea is an idea until you manifest it into an object, a project, or a motive. I mean, if you don't make it something, it's going to stay nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And nothing is something. And if that's what you're looking for, you go ahead and do that. But in order, I mean, an action has a consequence. I think it's just as simple as that. As you're saying, just thinking about it is to start it. It's like a lighting a match.
But you still need the candle.
But you still need the oxygen. You still need the flame. You've got the stick, the spark. Was amazing. It started the whole thing, but there's just so many other factors that's necessary to make it happen.
Yeah, and I personally feel like that can get lost sometimes. I lost it in my personal journey. I can say that for a bit, that where I kind of forgot that as much as universe can provide and everything, I've still got to put in effort. As much as universe is going to be there for support, I still have to be the one who steps up. I still have to be the one who wakes up, even when personally, guys, it gets hard when you don't want to do the work, because the work is not easy a lot of the time. This is go check out the conversation with Tuxedo. It kind of explains it. Some aspects of it, like, it gets tough, it gets exhausting, because there's a lot of work, like a lot of not only mental work but also emotional work that goes into spiritual healing. Like, for me personally, a lot of the work has gone into managing my temper. And I'm not an angry person. I don't really have a big temper. But managing my temper in the way of how easily I get frustrated.
Yeah.
Managing my temper in the way of things tend to irritate me very fast, And that's all good and everything, especially that's fine and everything, that's fine when it stays in your head, but also that gets a lot, a lot of the time when that happens to me, I don't tend to show it outwardly, but it will kind of build up in my body and manifest in different ways, you know. And that has been the trickiest part for me in spiritual healing, I guess. And I guess something no one tells you is how tired you get.
Yeah.
Like,
As you were saying, it takes a lot, like mentally and spiritually, whatever it is, né? Because think about it, especially if we're talking about a change. We've gotten into change, and the fact that change is not instantaneous. It's not going to be easy, especially if you've been in like a habit for a long time. You know what I mean? If it's like you wake up and you're so used to getting up at, let's say, 3 in the afternoon, and you want something that requires you to get up at 8, you have to wake up every day and choose not to continue sleeping. You need to wake up every day and choose to get up. It's about making that decision and doing it. The actual action is good, but it doesn't matter unless you start. As you're saying, the spark is important. Other things are a component. They're important, yes, to keep it continuous, keep it going. But the main thing is to start, and that could be, I'm not gonna lie, the hardest thing to do. Talking about it is great. Yes, talking about it is so good. You can yap about this. But when it comes to actually doing it, actually getting your butt off the floor, it's not as easy as it sounds. But most of the time, I could say that it's worth it. But both me and you know that we are still trying. We're always learning. It's not an easy thing to get used to, but I just think self-discipline and understanding why you did it in the beginning, and continuing with your foundation, your goals, and your objective, and always having an intention, because it's easy to get lost in things, especially change, spirituality, religion, because there's just so many things, so many aspects, so many branches of information.
what would you say scared you the most about your spiritual healing journey, or just your journey in general?
Exactly that. It's just the spreadingness of it, like just the vastness, how wide it is. Like, it's, to me, especially spirituality, it just could be like a bottomless pit. There's just so much about it. There's so much going on, and sometimes I feel like I could drown. I feel like, since me, the type of person, I like information, I like research, just like knowing things, sometimes you don't know, right? And that can be like a very scary thing. You're like, damn, man, I I I really, I have control, but I don't know everything. Like, I know that sounds stuck up. Like, sometimes you don't know. You have to trust. You have to be willing to learn. You have to be open, because yes, intuition will get you so far until when. So for me, that was the thing that really caught me, that okay, I need to let go of any expectation, try to let go of control, try to let go of trying to nitpick it, every single sort of thing, né? And the thing is, it's not even like in a way that I want to control it. It's just I want to make sense of it all. Yeah, I just want to make it make sense in a way.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. I've always kind of struggled with that bit of it, that bit of you don't know, because I'm the type of person that works with, I like having guidelines in a sense. I like having, if things go left, how left can they go? If things go right, how right can they go, And one thing, as you were saying, is that you don't know a lot of the time. And everyone's journey is kind of unique, And one struggle I can say for me that has been the biggest struggle is not knowing if I'm doing it right. I don't know if I'm the only person who struggles in this, where I kind of show up for myself, and then there's a lot of times where you fall. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of times where you kind of like mess up, fall back into quote unquote unhealthy habits, and when you are about to come back to that, jump back to it, it's not easy.
Yeah, I feel like the willingness to fail is also like a very important aspect. Like, just knowing that It's just saying, knowing that you don't know, that okay, no matter how prepared, no matter how strong, sometimes you could be faced with the obstacle, something that's stopping you from getting what you need or getting what you want. And it's important, you'll mess up. Sometimes you won't get on the first try, sometimes you won't get on the second try, won't get on the third, sometimes the 13th, but if it's really, really something you want, I feel like it's important to strive forward and really dig for it. And also, I'm saying that all of this is great advice. I'm not gonna lie, thinking about it, I need to take some of it, because like I said, talking about it is so easy compared to actually doing it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, guys. Um, like I talk about it a lot. Like, okay, guys, write down your things, do the work and stuff like that. I'm always saying to my friends, guys, we've got to, and I do the work, But there are also those points in my time or in my life where I'm kind of like, nah, guys, nah. Where I'm like, I tap out. I've panted, I've pushed out playing. I can't play, And I feel like in those moments is one of the moments where another aspect of healing comes in, the being nice to yourself while being stern, in a sense, because you've got those pit stops where they're necessary pit stops, where it's whatever universe or whatever telling you, okay, take a break, process and everything. But then I feel like those pit stops where we kind of dig ourselves into them, where we are tired, but we know we still have to keep going, but we make ourselves stop because we're like, know. Or like, am I the only one who falls into those things of like wanting to push myself more, but then
Having a balance between being strict and letting yourself breathe. I do get that, especially when your habit, I'm talking from experience, like personal experience, yeah, especially when your habit is giving yourself too much slack, being quote unquote too nice, too lenient, too not strict. And once you start having that quote unquote like or definition self-discipline, how it's you're like, okay, now guys, I don't want a break. I mean, like, sometimes my mental comes before anything else, and I would say trust your intuition, but it's also, as you're saying, it is hard keeping that balance of, okay, if I stop, I'm probably not gonna get up and go again, but pushing, there's also such a thing as pushing too hard, to sometimes like taking your time with it and not necessarily putting 100%, to go. Like, think about it, when you're running and you have 5Ks to run, 5K is not a lot of energy, not a lot of like length to run. You start, boom, right, and you've got let's be fair, 15 minutes to do it. You're not that great at running. 15 minutes to do it, you go full power. How long are you lasting? 100%, compared to if you start on maybe 20, or you go 10 in the first 1 minute, you slow down 50%. It's about maybe conserving energy, planning, and being fair to yourself, knowing your limits. Exactly, I think, yeah, knowing your limits, knowing yourself is also very important aspect in, I think, spirituality. Finding, as I think, open the beginning of this, opening new doors, so you know your strengths, you know your weaknesses, and you know how to plan forward.
No, that makes sense. Knowing your strengths and your weaknesses can also slightly be, not for everyone, but for people who tend to
Estimate.
not overestimate, but overthink. Because you know yourself and then you overthink yourself into not being able to do, in a sense, if that makes sense. And that's a very plausible thing,
Yeah.
I fall into that habit sometimes. It's something that I'm actually starting to let go of, because I'm like, you kind of get to that point where you're like, Z, you know that you can do this. You just kind of, you're just kind of sitting on it, it's in a sense of facing your fears, that being able to stand in front of something you're scared of and being like, okay, we're gonna do it anyway. I feel like it's also a very big part in in healing in general, let not only spiritual, because me personally, through my own spiritual healing journey, it's kind of gone hand in hand with my childhood healing journey.
But I think they're one and the same.
I personally don't actually. I personally feel like spiritual healing and childhood healing can be two different aspects.
No, there are two different aspects. And when I mean like one and the same, I mean as in spirituality in a whole. Spiritually, let me also include religion and whatever you choose to follow, philosophy, whatever it is, ne? Is the tree, is the what is it they call the base of the tree? The trunk, right? The trunk. And everything else can be branch, subgenres, subtopics, subspaces, sub-realms, whatever you want to call it. There could be, branches, thick ones, there could be twigs, there could be sticks, there could be leaves. They're all part of one thing, but they're separate entities.
So that makes sense.
That's how I've always thought about religion. Hot topic. I've always wanted. I don't know how to get into it because it's always just been like a thing in my head. I think everything is connected.
No, I understand that, right? That makes a lot of sense, ne? But then I ask you the question, does that mean that without spiritual sense, there's nothing else? Because you're saying it's the trunk.
Yeah.
So then...
I mean, think about it, ne? Nothing is nothing, but nothing is something. And something is also nothing. So once there's a quote, I know that sounds confusing, ne? But once there's a name to it, once you can identify it, it's one tree. But once the leaf is a leaf, it's separate, but it's connected to the twig. The twig.
No, I understand the connection.
Yeah.
No, that's the connection makes sense. I'm talking about in the sense of, you said that spirituality is the root, is not the root, the trunk, right?
I mean, then in a way, yeah.
So everything in life stems from spirituality,
Not
from
just spirituality,
or spiritual sense, in whatever sense that is, religion,
reality, perspective, just seeing things, a goal in life. It's a basis, yeah.
That makes
like an objective. Let me just say, just think about it. If no one had anything to chase or no one had an idea of anything, nothing would be there.
I think that's a beautiful place to end this episode.
I do agree.
Leaving people on a creepy note.
Yeah, this was actually a good episode. Me and Zile, I don't think we've had such a spiritual conversation on the podcast before, but we're glad, and I think this will be a wrap when it comes to spirituality. And
for now,
we never completely end topics, but this was good, especially connecting with the Monday's episode with our new recurring guest Tuxedo. You guys better check that out if you haven't already. So as Zila was saying, this is a good place to wrap it up. So thank you for listening. If you've made it this far, don't forget to subscribe, follow, like, and share.
Hit the notification bell for every Monday and Thursday
with a new guest every week, hopefully sometimes most of the time. So I hope you guys enjoy your weekday wherever you are. You don't know if you're international yet, but yeah. Bye. Love you guys. Bye.